In this video, we're going to discuss the toxic zone behaviors. So specifically, that includes the gas behaviors and also radiation. So it's kind of a 3 behavior combination that we'll be covering today. So here's the scenario. I'm in a Cold War bunker, and you can hear that there's a radiation situation happening, probably from a saboteur, because we got gas filling up this chamber, and that's blocking our way in order to get to the radiation zone in order to fix that issue. Now, if I were to open this door and walk in here, you can see I'm getting hurt because I'm in this toxic zone and I don't have protection on. So let me get out of that. You don't have to close the door, but I'm just doing it for dramatic effect. All right, so here's my gas mask. I can put that on. And you get my prompt there at the bottom, G to wear, Q to remove. So I press G, and I have my gas mask on now. So now it's time to go back through the door. And so you can see my health isn't going down now. It's staying where it was. And we can go through this door. And now I'm outside of the zone, so I can go ahead and take off the mask. Now, the radiation is around that corner. So if we go forward, once again, we'll be getting injured because we don't have any protection on. So I'm just going to put on this rad suit. So same thing, I can just press the K button to wear the rad suit. Kind of looks very similar. And then I can walk freely around and fix the radiation that's going on in this area. So let me show you how all of that works. Like I said, there's 3 behaviors that we'll be covering in concert with one another. All right. So the first thing I want to focus on is the zone itself. So let me pull up the zone behavior. So this is called toxic zone. Obviously, it goes on a zone, on a marker. You can put prompt text. That's just going to be displayed when you walk into the zone. I chose not to do that. But you could have some kind of prompt or clue for the player in that place. The effect is either gas or radiation, and really the only difference here is which device you need in order to protect yourself from this damage. So if it's gas, you need a gas mask. If you're in radiation, you need a radiation suit. So that matters because if you don't have the right protection gear, you're still going to get damage. This slider indicates how much damage per tick, and you can see that tick was happening pretty much every second. So I'm getting damaged by 10 points every second. The zone height, just like usual, it just determines how far above the zone I can be and still be affected by the zone. So 100 units, so 1 floor basically. Toxic to NPC. This is interesting because we could choose to say no here, and that way if we had an NPC like an enemy coming through, they wouldn't be affected the same way we're affected. Maybe we have a NPC partner that's following us along, and we don't want to deal with that because how do we put a gas mask on them, right? So that might be one scenario where you might use this and say no, or you might say yes if you want it to be a little bit more realistic. User global affected. So you can see here that the global that's listed here is called my user global. That means nothing. That's just kind of a placeholder. The way it was explained to me is this is for situations where you have a user global defined. And we talked about those, by the way, in previous videos in the HUD, so player HUD. If you go back and watch that, you'll see what I mean by defining a user global. And then if you have something like that, so let's say, for instance, we have, toxicity level or, my rage indicator, whatever global you come up with, you can affect that global as well. So you'll be ticking down 10 points of health, but you'll also be impacting whatever global you've defined previously in place in that spot. Otherwise, you can just leave it as I did, and it doesn't really mean anything at all. Lastly, you have the sound 0 and sound 1. So as always, we're just going to look right here in the text, and it says that sound 0 is the sound that you hear when you're in the zone. So if you listen closely when I'm in the zone during the video, there's this kind of hiss sound. So that's the sound you hear when you're in the zone. The second sound would be the pain sound. So we have our zone set up, and all the rest of this is just particles, as you can see, kind of for the scenic part of this. So now let's take a look at the gas mask. So I grabbed this mask off of Sketchfab. There'll be a credit in the description below if you're interested in getting this mask. But it's not important. Whatever mask you have is fine. The behavior is what we're after. So we have the gas mask here. E to pick up is our prompt text. We have pickup range, is how far away can you be from the object and still interact and pick up the object. This is just 80 units. G to wear, Q to remove. Probably don't want to change that unless you're going to change the keys that are defined within the behavior themselves. You have the image that is being displayed once the mask is on. So this is just a stock image that comes with Max. You could use your own image here if you'd like. And then we have our two sounds. So here I'm using a sound when I put on the mask. Is a really quick Velcro sound. I'd forgive you if you didn't hear it. And then the second sound, which was a little bit more pronounced and was ongoing, was the breathing sound. And then the rad suit is literally the same. If we look at the behavior for this, there's no difference in as far as setup. It's all the same prompts. The only difference here is how it reacts in conjunction with that toxic zone. So if the toxic zone is set to radiation and you've got this equipped, you'll be fine. But if you have the gas mask and you walk in the toxic zone, it's still going to hurt you for however much damage it's set to do. But that's it. That is everything you need to know to set up your own toxic environment. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned anything new, I would appreciate if you just click the like button down below. That helps me out a lot. If you have any questions, by all means, ask them and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you are new here and you've not yet subscribed, I sure would like you to stick around. And then lastly, if you'd like a notification for when new videos are posted, just click the bell icon. That'll let you know whenever a new video is on its way. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.